Welcome to the stream. Make sure you get to Rumble or Rockfin to finish the stream. And tonight's stream is called Zionism. Let's get it. In a world. All right, what up, fam? We have a controversial topic tonight, and it's a topic that you could never cover in one stream if you've ever researched it. You also know that we're going to have to finish the stream off of this platform if you're on YouTube, if you have ever researched it or kept up with it. So, we're going to let some people get in here. I'm going to make a few announcements. I told you guys next stream I'd make a pretty big personal announcement. I'm going to talk to you guys about that for a sec. There's a little bit of the topic that we can cover here, and then we will be moving to Rumble and Rockfin. The links to both of those streams are in the description. I have Rumble pinned in the chat. It's rockfin.com/WitsitGetsIt, rumble.com/WitsitGetsIt, I believe, or at WitsitGetsIt. But the specific stream link is in the chat. Another quick announcement I will show you by way of showing you the Miswits platform. So if we come over here, this is a little glimpse into the Miswits platform, right? And you have, I had to make sure everything was running smooth there, but I think that it is. I got some feedback from some people. So there's certain things that are private, meaning that you guys can't fully see everything yet, but if you are a Miswit. But anyway, as you see, you have a news feed, you have a discovery events members, and you can drop your own news feeds. You come down here, this is Witsit's calendar. I bring this up to kind of show you, if you're not part of it, you definitely should be. It's one of the only places that I can kind of, at least I hope, ensure not being censored. But if you see here, April 3rd, we have a stream with Adam Green about Zionism. And you may be like, oh man, this is redundant. What are we talking about? But it will make sense to you why I'm doing this stream beforehand in just a moment. But here you can tell, you can keep up with what's going on. I got an appearance on Alpha Vedic the next day. And then I got Tinfoil Hat Podcast right here on the 17th. So, all right. So I'll get into the personal announcement, I guess we will do. Get that out of the way. So, pretty exciting news. What did someone just say? Austin is a ginger Jew. Interesting. I didn't know that. I'm pretty sure I'm German, bro. Anyway, Kai is pregnant with our second baby, and she is quite pregnant. She is approaching 27 weeks. So we chose to kind of keep it under wraps for a while, and now you guys know. So we didn't really waste much time. She is 27 weeks here soon. So praise Yah for that. And yeah, it should be cool. It will be our second daughter. So yeah, we're just waiting. We're holding off on the son, you know. But yeah, so congratulations. Thank you guys. So pretty exciting. I know last time we did this like real interactive thing where we made like a baby registry and we opened it up for you guys, and we may do that again. Obviously we have a decent amount of stuff for a little girl, and yeah, so anyway, there you go. Very cool news. And of course, if you know anything about this channel, I encourage people to make children, you know, get married, make children, and then raise them without attacking them once they come out the womb, and kind of raise them in a way that's not so convoluted. And that's kind of how you win, is you create like a legendary future generation. Making babies. Congrats, bro. Yeah. Thank you. So cool stuff. That's the announcement. For obvious reasons, if you kind of see the way people go about anything to do with me, kept it under wraps, but now you guys know. Cool. Okay, cool. So that's a personal announcement. Also, we have the Sam Tripoli podcast coming up soon. And then we'll talk about that a little bit more in the future, but I will have to like put some type of like fund me up or something. So yeah, Taboo Conspiracies here. Shout out to my boy. If you don't know who that is, you're tripping, and go follow him. All right. Tonight's subject is very interesting. It is a rabbit hole, okay? And I am going to have Adam Green on to discuss this subject, which is kind of his specialty, if you will. If anyone's not new to the channel, like the first time I ever got censored on YouTube, I talked about this subject. It was the 6th stream I ever did. Now it's kind of like the talk of the town, and everyone's starting to talk about it. But if you really research, you start to find a reoccurring theme behind pretty much all the major deceptions that are influencing society. And yeah, I was basically passionately speaking out against the orchestration of wars and innocent people dying. And I was struck, and it was called hate speech or enticing violence, which is pretty ironic. So we will be finishing this stream off this platform, but also people know that I've been kind of pointing out that I think that Jesuits are behind a lot of modern deception, and they're very, very good at masking the fact that they are directly influencing a lot of the deception. We're going to get into that a bit. Again, you want to just go ahead and start to head over to Rumble, head over to Rockfin, because I can't really talk about much on here. But what I will talk about is we're going to have Adam on. And obviously, Adam and I don't completely agree. If you've ever followed him, he says that Christianity is basically a Jewish trick. It is a diluted religion given to the Gentiles so that they would worship the Jewish God. And that I don't think he even thinks that Jesus existed, etc. So we're going to have a conversation. It should be interesting. Personally, I don't have beef with Adam Green. I don't have beef with Jaron. I'm not really like a lot of the people that are super religious and dogmatic and judgmental. I think that it's about having a love for the truth and continuing to update and adapt as you get new information. And the only time you're in trouble is when you don't do that, including those who claim to be Christians. So we won't get into all that. We're going to get into the topic. Rumble's not working. Oh, wow. Rumble's not working. Like, well, I'm on there, but frozen. I don't really know what to do about that unless everyone just wants to go to Rockfin. That sucks, though. We have 200 on Rumble. That's so weird, bro. It's working fine. Some people say it's working, so we're going to keep it going. If it's not working for you on Rumble, obviously go to Rockfin. We know that this is not a topic that they want me covering, and it is what it is. Right when I'm about to get off my little YouTube demonetization ban, I'm going to cover the subject that clearly they got mad about. So anyway, without further ado, I was trying to give everybody time to kind of get in, get acclimated, move over to the other platforms. But this is the part that I think is important to point out, right? It's this idea of Christian Zionism. How recently has that been a thing? Where did it come from, right? Because we see that that's a majority held position in quote unquote Christianity in modern times. And the question is it valid? And, whether you believe in the Bible or not, it is being used and with extreme effectiveness, right? So I'm starting to realize I can't even really talk about any of it, I think, which is kind of crazy. What I will do is I'll show a couple things here. So something that you may not be aware of is, let's pop over here. And then let me change that. Okay, there was a book written called The Coming of Messiah in Glory and Majesty. And as you see here, is written by Edward Irving, and really he translated it from Spanish. And it was written in Spanish by Manuel Lacunza. I may be butchering his name. And this is where you really start to get dispensationalism. If you don't know, it's the belief that basically God changes and has different periods in which he changes and rules differently over time or whatever. And then this is where you start to get into Darby, and you start to get into then you get into the Schofield Interpretation Bible. And here, very interesting. Manuel Lacunza was a Jesuit priest who used the pseudonym Juan Josephat ben Ezra in his main work on the interpretation of the prophecies of the Bible, which was entitled The Coming of the Messiah in Majesty and Glory. So he's, supposedly converted to being a Jewish rabbi. He was a Jesuit. And some people have said to me, well, don't you think it's interesting that you're able to cover the Jesuits, you're able to talk about them, and then not get censored? Don't you think that kind of tells you what's going on? No, what I think is that they've done such a good job of masking it that they haven't even had to get to that point. And the stream is not about Jesuits, right? It's about Zionism, but there's an overlap. In fact, let me come back over here and let's read the Jesuit oath here. And you're going to see the relevance once we go through this here. Sorry, it's cut off. Let me do that. All right. So, this is the Jesuit oath, the Society of Jesus, and this is the complete oath of extreme induction. This is intense, so there's the disclaimer. We're going to go through some of this, and then we're going to switch over. Okay, so when a Jesuit novice is about to be inducted into the higher levels of the order, he kneels on a red cross before the superior of the order. And look, let me just go ahead and say, I know that people think they, like, just listen. Actually just froze. It's frozen. Is it really? Rumble's freezing. I don't know what I can do about it other than just to try to keep doing it. Like I said, if Rumble's not working, you can go over to Rockfin. People in the Rumble chat, can you give me feedback on if it's working or not? It works, then it doesn't. Really weird. It's working for me and my internet's very weak. I really don't know. All right, so real fast. I just want you guys to see this. So it gets really intense, right? And it says, like, if you ever turn on it, then basically do all kinds of crazy things to me, right? So here's what's so interesting, though. It says, my son, heretofore you have been taught to act the dissembler among Roman Catholics to be a Roman Catholic, and to spy even among your own brethren, to believe no man, to trust no man, among the reformers to be a reformer, among the whatever, among the Calvinists to be a Calvinist, among the Protestants generally to be a Protestant, very important, and obtaining their confidence to seek even to preach from their pulpits and to denounce with all the vehemence in your nature our holy religion and the Pope, and to descend so low as to become a Jew among the Jews, that you might be enabled to gather together all information for your order as a faithful soldier. You have been taught to insidiously plant the seeds of jealousy and hatred between communities, provinces, and states that were at peace, and incite them to deeds of blood, involving them in war with each other, and to create revolutions and civil wars in countries that were independent and prosperous, cultivating the arts and sciences and enjoying the blessings of peace. Of course, where do you get the Big Bang Theory? Who really popularized and pushed evolution? Where do you get heliocentrism? It is the Jesuits. To take sides with the combatants and to act secretly in concert with your brother Jesuit, who may be engaged on the other side, but openly opposed to that which you might be connected, only that the church might be the gainer in the end, in the conditions fixed in the treaties for peace, and for that justify the ends justify the means. Now, here is a very interesting part of it as well. Okay, what you say right here. And to descend so low as to become a Jew among the Jews. Okay. I'm hoping that the stream starts working, but this isn't a complete shock to me. Every time I cover like a really important subject that's not just cosmology, everything starts freaking out. So I don't know. So the Star of David is the Star of Rimpen. We're going to switch over now. So hopefully it's working on Rumble. I'm going to keep it. It's working fine. A bunch of people are saying it's working fine. So, you're a man of courage, wisdom, and humility. It's always a pleasure learning from your shows. Thank you so much, Glenda, for the $25 donation and kind words. Like I said, if it's not working for you on Rumble, go to Rockfin, rockfin.com/WitsitGetsIt. Links in both the description, both links are in the description of the YouTube. We're going to go ahead and move over because I'm realizing that's the only way to do this, but I will just say this is a very important topic, and obviously it's been catapulted to the front of discussion in the world today because of what's going on. And I will say, side note on the Jesuits, by the way, like someone was like, "Oh, that's funny." Someone's like, "Go ahead and show your cards and that you're anti-Semitic or whatever on X." And who is it you think is this shadowy cabal behind the globe deception? And I said Jesuits. And then someone said, well, that's funny. China and Russia, who have had no influence of the Roman Catholic Church, are somehow controlled by the Jesuits or whatever. I said he asked about the globe deception. And if you look into it, in China, they rejected the globe idea into the 1800s. And guess how it was that they eventually converted over? Who influenced that? A Jesuit priest. A Jesuit priest went over there and got China to do it. What's one of the most famous books ever, supposedly from China? The Art of War, right? Well, it turns out that the person that allegedly authored The Art of War actually didn't. I'm hoping everything starts working. It's pseudepigraphical, meaning written by multiple people and not the author portrayed, or who is portrayed to be the author. And it was, of course, brought to the Western world by a Jesuit and translated by a Jesuit. So, all that to say, you get into the Bolsheviks in Russia and all that. What I'm trying to make a point to before we switch over is there is an ideology called Zionism, and it seems to have evolved into a very, very dangerous thing. But don't become so close-minded or arrogant that you think you know all the answers, or start accusing people of not being truthers because they don't just focus on one group. I think that's the trick. And as you keep going, you start to find it's a little deeper than that. So we're going to get into some of it. I'm going to show exactly what's going on with this whole Christianity, Zionism influence in Christianity, and that's important, especially when we're about to have a conversation with Adam Green. That's clearly what we disagree on. And I would ask you a simple question before we switch over, right? If it's all just a trick that they wrote, a Judeo-Christian trick, then why are they trying so hard to subvert it and to lie about it? Why do they have to have the Babylonian Talmud to completely invert what it says? And then why do they have to come in with the Catholic Church influence, completely diluting what it truly says, inverting it, subverting it? Be a truther, bro. Apply the same pattern recognition you apply to everything. They're taking books out, they're mistranslating, they're taking more books out. And you find out that, again, at the very beginning here, there's this guy who said he converted to a rabbi from being a Jesuit. And we just read, what does the Jesuit oath say? It says, pretend to be whatever you need to, including a Jew. And he supposedly, converts over to being a rabbi. He uses a pseudonym, Jewish pseudonym of being a rabbi. And he pushes in this book, which is like the coming of Christ. And that's what really starts. It's where you start getting into Darby and dispensationalism, and then the Scofield Bible, which implants Zionism. Okay, so this is a perfect example of how, if you just do a very quick research, you'd be like, oh, look, rabbi, but you turn out oh, no, that wasn't a real rabbi. Okay, and it's important to know that that's where it came from. You have the Scofield Bible, the interpretive Bible that was then put into ministry schools in 1909, I believe it was. And it really, or was it 1909, I think, started really pushing the idea. It was one of the first Bibles that had commentary. So it had an interpretation section, right? A commentary section underneath each page of the Bible. And it told you that actually the Bible was prophesying a physical state of Israel would be founded. Okay, and then of course, those who bless Israel will be blessed, those who curse Israel will be cursed. Okay, so that then infiltrates all kinds of ministry schools, and it ends up becoming a widely accepted doctrine in Protestantism, whatever you would say, in the Protestant church. Now, these are all just labels, and they're weird. And if there's the Catholic Church that completely subverts everything, and then you just break off from that and keep most of what it said, but you just don't keep all of it, then you're still just picking and choosing from the deception. Okay? And so when people say oh, Christianity is part of the trick, they're not wrong, right? Modern Christianity is part of the trick. But it's a masterful deception. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We're going to move to Rumble and Rockfin now officially. Like I said, personal announcement was that we're pregnant, so thank you for all the prayers. Thank you for the congrats. And then prayers, we welcome prayers right now because we're trying to figure out the birthing center situation, and the birthing center wants $8,500, which we obviously cannot do that, right? So prayers for the natural birthing center situation to work out, but we have faith that it'll all work out. And cool, yeah, so happy stuff, man. Wasted no time, got to the second one. I encourage other people to do the same. We'll talk about that more later. That's all. I just reiterated that before we leave YouTube, but okay, I can't even read the chat on YouTube. So, all right, links in the description. You don't want to miss it because we're going to really start to break some of this down, but this is more of a prequel to when I'm having Adam on, and I wanted people to kind of really understand kind of where I stand on all of this. I didn't call. Okay, look. I don't even care what we're getting off YouTube. So, seek and speak truth unequivocally, and the weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance. I encourage you guys to pop on over, and if not, I will see you on the next YouTube friendly stream. But I do encourage you guys to follow me on Rockfin, Rumble, and X, as I'm not going to just tiptoe around important subjects anymore. And let me just find the YouTube. All right, so peace out to the YouTube.